We'll start with you. If you can just give us a opening statement on, again, bowl preparations so far and what the trip has been like so far for you guys.
It's been great. We're very excited to be here. We fully understand the challenge that's ahead of us, the offense that we're facing. You know, it's just for me personally, it's great to reconnect. You know, Bill Beanbo, their offensive line coach for Oklahoma, I was a GA with for 3 years. We shared the same offense, our office. I'm great friends with him, and Dennis Simmons, the receiver coach, and you know, Lincoln showed up at Texas Tech after I left, and Ruffin, I was a GA for when Ruffin was a linebacker coach at OU or at Texas Tech. So it's great to be able to reconnect and see them. But then on the other side of it, you know, we've got quarterback runs, and we've got speedos, shot throws, and we've got looky passes off of run actions, and it's a triple option offense kind of wrapped up in a spread packaging, and so it's a whole bunch for us to digest, and we're trying to take that bite by bite.
Throughout the season, you guys have had rotations on defense to on the line and other things like that, with more personnel in a game at a time. How has that affected how you approach game planning and scheming players throughout a game?
We want to be able to play our best in the fourth quarter, and so we go into every game anticipating that fourth quarter is a must-win. And so the more that we can rotate early in the game, keeping guys fresh for late in the game. And I think we've been able to develop that. I think the front specifically has helped us here in this late stretch of games. Just the depth that they've got. We don't miss a beat when you know, the ones aren't in there, so to speak. And I think linebacker-wise, I think DB-wise, the emergence of Flott and Maurice Hampton has allowed and freed up other defenders to do different things. And so I think earlier in the year when we didn't have that depth, I thought, you know, a lot of our DBs were covering guys. When we added more DB depth, we added the ability for DBs to blitz and do different stuff, and that's what we've been doing lately. And so I think the inclusion of guys has been big.
All right. Next question. All right, all the way back in the back left, gentlemen.
Matt Trent, ABC Baton Rouge. Coach Aranda, can you just give us a timeline on your talks with UNLV at the time, and were they serious talks, or was it just a mere flirtation between you two?
You know, I think we had this discussion earlier with a couple other guys. I think any time that you're presented with an opportunity, I think you, for you and for your family, you want to be able to look into it. And I think there's just preliminary talks, and it was nothing more than that. I feel like you know, that program is in a great situation. I think the AD there and the people associated there are going to be on great tracks. I wish them well.
All right, over here on the far right.
Coach, would you say that Hurts is the best scrambler, I guess, since the Ole Miss quarterback Plumlee? And what did you take away from, you know, the second half of that game, how you played defensively and the concerns you would have guarding Hurts in this game?
I think when I would say yes. I think they're different. There's a different style of runner. I think Hurts likes to put his foot in the ground quite a bit, where I think Plumlee's more of a straight line guy, where I think Hurts will try to set you up and then cut it back on him. I think the lessons learned would be the team defense aspect. And I think that's the challenge with Oklahoma is, kind of we talked about before, is there's spread offense in this, but there's so many plays, whether it's the gadget plays or, you know, it's a run in here and there's a tight end that's over here, he's blocking and then he releases late, or it's a run this way, or it looks like a run and the receiver is shallow, like he's going to run a mesh route and then he just takes up the field. There's so many plays that they've got that are, you know, triple option plays. You have to stay on your guy. You've got to be able to have your eyes in the right spot. And so I feel like the mistake that I made in the Ole Miss game was when we had a breakdown here or a breakdown there, I didn't pull everybody to the side and get them together and say, hey, this is what happened. This is where it went wrong. This is how we fix it. And I feel I try to do that as best I can. And I feel like in the past I have, and I don't know why in that game I did not. And what ended up happening then is one thing started to fester to the next thing. You know, so the outside guy is going to try to make plays inside, and the inside guy is going to try to make plays outside, and we're missing guys now. You know, the math doesn't add up. And so Oklahoma will put you in that situation in a fast way. And so we're going to collectively play team defense. As adjustments come up, we're going to have to make those adjustments as a team.
All right. Right here, second row on the left.
Dave, in your history of coaching, have you been part of a staff where the offense, I guess, maybe didn't perform on this level, but leads the NCAA in scoring, and they score pretty quickly, averaging like 2 minutes a drive? What challenges does that present a defensive coordinator, and is there even a learning curve even for someone like you to kind of catching up to that as the season goes on?
Well, I think, you know, what I'm proud of with this group is the improvements that we've made, is the ability when you're winning to, you know, look at yourself critically and what can I do better and how can I improve, and just all of that. I think some of that stuff's hard when you're winning. I was at Texas Tech. Cliff Kingsbury was our quarterback, and Coach Leach was our head coach, and he was calling the plays, and they score quite a bit and score early. And at Hawaii, Bryant Moniz was there, and they score quite a bit, score early, score fast. And so anytime it's like that, it's that the scoreboard doesn't matter. It's between you and yourself. You're not gonna let them score, no matter what it is. You're not gonna let them in. You're not gonna give them an inch. You're not gonna give them a yard, right? You're not gonna make a mistake, even though it's 30 to something. You know what I mean? And so it's not about necessarily winning the game. It's about completely shutting them down. And that's a different mindset. And so I think we're working to cultivate that mindset.
All right, let's go back here, back on the left. Marty?
Coach, early in the season, there was a narrative and some criticism about the points and the statistics that you guys were surrendering. And there was an obvious shift the last 2 weeks against A&M and against Georgia. Mm-hmm. What changed? And you noted the evolution of this group. Define that evolution, but what changed the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think I appreciate your question. I feel like there was positive things throughout the year, whether it was the second half of Florida. I'm going to bring up halves now. Or let's say the first 3 quarters of Arkansas. First 3 quarters and a couple minutes of Arkansas. And so, or Auburn, right? The first 3 quarters of the Auburn game. And so our issue, or one of our issues, has been finishing, has been 4 quarters. And a lot of it had to do, like, there is no scoreboard, man. There isn't. It's not about the W or the L. It's about shutting people down. It's about stopping people, you know. And so that's a mindset that you got to be able to have. And I think these guys have been able to get into it. You know, I'll stand at the 20 after our offense scores, and we're waiting. You know, that's where we're anticipating we're going to start as the kickoff and that. And as the defense comes walks over, jogs over, runs over, I can tell by the look in their eye that this is going to be 3 and out. That they're not going to score right now, no matter what no matter what the scoreboard says. You can see it. Just as a coach, you can see it. And I imagine, you know, the fans with their rightful criticism, I imagine they could see it too, good and bad. And so I think we've got it to where we want it to be, and we're working to get it better.
All right, next question.
Dave, I know you're preparing for OU's offense, but I wanted to get your perspective on the job that Alex Grinch has done with Oklahoma's defense this year. Just as someone that is well respected as a defensive coordinator in college football, how do you think Alex has done turning around Oklahoma's defense this season?
I think he's done a great job. You know, I remember talking to him when he was still back out west, and we talked about the stemming that he was using and the different stunts. You know, he moves his front more than really anybody, and was really impressed in the talk that we had, because he organized all of it. I think that's what I had never seen before, was organizing the stems and the stunts and being able to have so much multiplicity with one-word calls and to be able to get in and out of things. I feel when I watch Oklahoma defense play, which I've watched quite a few games, the violence they play with, how hard they play, the speed in which they play with, I mean, that's the first thing you see, and that's a great quality to jump off the screen. I think he's done a great job.